What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and today what I wanted to do was go over this Oranos game and attempt to walk you guys through a little bit about how you can navigate playing Oranos on Age Mythology Retold. This god is challenging, to say the very least. He's got some really strong elements, but all of those elements are active. You really have to do something in order to take advantage of it. So, first and foremost here, we're playing against Freyr. So we really got to know the ins and outs of the god that we're playing against so that we can create a game plan to actually have success against that god. So, I know that Freyr's got access to Ulla and Freyr's got access to Freyr. So without even thinking about the actual god, I'm already thinking about minor god possibilities here. And more specifically, an easy way to go into this is to just be like, what minor god myth unit does he have access to? Do I have to be worried about this? So Ulla gives the Draugr, which is a really slow ranged myth unit. I don't have to worry about that at the start of the game at all. I do have to worry about that if it gets massed, because as an Atlantean, it's quite difficult to kill off those ranged myth units, especially in the classical age. Now, the other myth unit I got to be worried about is Freyr and the Valkyrie. This one I'm a little bit more worried about because it's really quick and it's going to be able to put a lot of pressure onto me. So I need to ensure that I'm in the classical age and I'm ready to defend against any sort of pressure that a Valkyrie might be able to put onto me. The way that I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be going through Oceanus. I'm going through Oceanus for the Caladria, and the Caladria will not only be able to slow down that Valkyrie to prevent any sort of early game damage, but more importantly, it's going to be able to heal my citizens up while I'm waiting for a Hero Mamilo to come out and save me. So that's why we're going for Oceanus first and foremost. Now, the next thing we need to be thinking about is, okay, is there anything else I need to worry about? Okay, so let's say my opponent goes Ulla, and now I don't have, but I'm also already committed to Oceanus here because I need to. If my opponent goes Ulla here, how can I deal with the god power that comes through? So Freyr's god power is forest fire. We don't really mind about forest fire, right? That's going to be just a god power we can play around without really needing anything special. We just need to stay away from forests, or if it comes down, run away. No problems. Ulla gives access to the hill fort in the classical age, which is something very strong for Norse. And the fact of the matter is you get access to Huskar. I'm going to talk about these sky passages a little bit later, but Huskar will come out. So if I see a fort coming up, I need to be ready to pounce. I don't want to give my opponent an easy time booming in this game. So I'm going to have to make some Mermillo out, and I'm going to have to put pressure onto that. Now, luckily, I get access to the Carnivora, which is really good anti-building unit. It's also good at killing units as well, so it's a very all-around god power. You can use it also to stop a town center from going up, though against Norse they're going to have heroes already there to defend against it. So I'm probably not looking about doing that, but I'm looking about combining my Mermillos and my Carnivora to stop any sort of greedy Ulla fort placement things. Okay, so that's my plan thus far. Let's talk about these sky passages and how I'm using this. What I do is I put the sky passage that's off screen onto a control group. This way, when I garrison my villages into the sky passage, I can actually hit the control group on the other sky passage and hit my garrison hotkey, which is G. For me, it's going to be something else for you guys unless you want to change it. I hit my G and they're immediately going to pop out onto the hunt, and that way I'm going to have zero idle time. Those villagers get to work really quickly. I'm cutting down a lot of walking time to get my villagers out onto the hunt, but more importantly, those villagers are nice and safe. I'm also noticing Wiz, he's having a very late advance time here. So I'm very comfortable at this moment. One of the weakest parts about the Atlantean game plan, or the Atlantean game, is the early game. It's because every other god can get units out while they're advancing to the classical age, but Atlantean cannot. So that's a really big problem for them to need to overcome. All right, I also see pair of golden lions here, and I'm like, great. Need to go and grab that one. That's a really great relic for early game pressure. I also see a cheeky little berserk here. I don't mind this one. I just need to get my Caladra over here. I can garrison into the Skypassage if need be. But my Murmillo's already over there to defend, so all good. And I want to just make sure that Wiz is not going to be grabbing those giraffes for free, and I need to check that town center. So I'm sending Murmillo over there to make sure I know what's happening here, and I can make a reasonable assumption or decision moving forward. Now, I do see the giraffe there, and I say, okay, I am going to slice them up. I'm going to kill them. You're not there. You're not defending it. I made units. I need to get some value from these. I know that I can't really run into your main base here at the moment. It's going to be a little bit... he's got towers up already, so I'm trying to take as much off of him as I possibly can. Now, it's a very small amount of damage. It takes a very long time for these animals to decay. And according to Red Bull and according to everyone else, that killing off animals is fair play in Age of Mythology. Even if it might seem a little bit sweaty, it is fair play. So I've got my gold lions here. I've got a whole bunch of units out, and I'm feeling very, very good about the position I'm in. My citizen here can now move back into the main base, so I've cut down even more gather time here. I'm going to be sending one citizen up to build another Skypassage on another little bit of hunt up there. Yes, it's baboons, but baboons are great, and we're very happy. Now, I see the Ulla, God Power, Asgardian Bastion, and I'm very lucky here to have spotted this one. So it does start, I believe it starts with a little bit of HP. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could have actually killed it there if I dropped the Carnivora down straight away. I'm actually not sure. I'm going to have to watch that again, but I think it doesn't really matter. We're going to put the Carnivora down. Carnivora is doing 20 hack damage a second, which is a lot of hack damage there. It does start with a little bit of HP, I think. A little bit of a shockwave as I get to win my first fight. Basically, this is a fairly stock standard thing here. I got my Caladria back here to help heal up some of these units to get a bit of an advantage here as well. And I really don't even mind losing this fight. I'm just trying to deny this God Power with my own stuff, and I'm going to be retreating away as I notice that the HP is incredibly low, and we should be able to finish that hill fort off, and we get a really nice win. That's not a big deal, but killing it off really does help, really makes it so that he doesn't have anything safe here, and we can very, very easily now jump into our Skypassage. Now, when you're playing as Oranos, one of the things you really want to avoid, in my opinion, is getting stuck in the classical age. Terma aren't very good, Chiroballista aren't very good, Counterpelties are okay, but they're only good against cavalry, and then the cavalry can just run away from them, so in my estimation, they're not very good either. The only unit that really has any super utility is the Murmillo, and they get absolutely diced by any counter infantry, so throwing axemen are going to come out and be really, really annoying. Now, the good thing here is, though, if I go mass Murmillo, that almost forces the Norse player to go into throwing axemen. And worst case scenario, I can just get myself watchtowers and I can jump around in my sky passages to get more resources if need be. Now, I'm deciding whether to go Freyr or to go Hyperion here. I really don't think it matters that much, but Hyperion has a little bit more utility because my opponent's got access to Goaty. So Goaty are going to really shut down those Stymphalian birds. They're very challenging to play around. It means I'd have to go like mass Arcus to deal with those and have the Stymphalian birds there. Kind of really, really awkward army composition of Arcus, Stymphalian birds, and some sort of a front line. My opponent could just go Huskarl, Goaty, and really make my life incredibly challenging. I don't have a great answer to Huskarl, Goaty at all until I'm in the Mythic Age with Fanatics. So I'm thinking right now, if I've got the option to go for these Satyr, I'm going to go for the Satyr because at the very least, if he goes Goaty, I can sit those Satyr in the back of my army and they're going to be able to hold me a little bit in a good spot. Now, I see my opponent running in and I say, no worries, I'm just going to retreat away. I'm in the heroic age right now. It's a bit of a timing here. He can push in, he can get some damage done, but I'm okay. I've also started to build a couple more of those oracles. You can see I've got 4 oracles out now. One other thing you'll notice with my oracles, I didn't notice this, I didn't mention this, excuse me, just yet, but I put my oracles in the corners of the map. Why do I do this? I'm trying to hide these oracles, really, and trying to get a little bit of value out of them. If my opponent's got, like, ravens, if they're Odin, I might even bring these oracles all the way back home and just literally just leave them in my main base because it's Losing any of these is really, really bad. You really don't want to be losing any of them. And now I can just start getting myself out some strong units. I can get myself the Arcus. I can get myself Contarius. I don't need to go in for Murmillo anymore. You'll also notice that I don't even get myself the... I think I don't even get myself the unique upgrade for my...
What does this do?
The unique upgrade for... What are they called? For my Murmillo here? Yeah, I don't get it. And why don't I get this one? Because I've got no plan to stay Murmillo here. No plan. I don't need Murmillo. I need Contarius. I need Destroyers maybe. I need Arcus. Basically all of those units in the next age. I'm also trying to get another Skypassage set up so that I can prevent my opponent from getting over to that left side of the map. The other, I probably wouldn't, it wouldn't have been a bad idea here to maybe delete the Skypassage that's on my side of the map now and move onto the right side of the map so that I can get from my main base to the left side of the map to the right side of the map and be in a good spot there. But not 100% necessary, and now we can come in and put some really, really good pressure. And now I'm going to show off a little bit of a wombo combo here you can hit with Oranos. It's really, really strong, and it's basically when you hit Chaos, all of the units will come into a ball and fight each other if they're melee units, and then at the end of that, you're going to be able to shockwave the entirety of that army and get a lot of damage done. I actually completely massacred that army there without any losses, and I'm able to really have a fantastic game of it right now. And I just need to find where he's getting gold. Luckily, my Oracle is in a good spot, and I send some Contarius over there to deal with it. And at this stage, well, I accidentally used my control group and I screwed up. My Contarius went the wrong way. That's fine, but I'm going to be able to take out those dwarves, and stopping my opponent getting gold income at this point is going to be a game-winning play, basically, at this point. The big thing about Age of Mythology is gold is king. If your opponent has no gold, they cannot make any units, and if they can't make any units, they will die. So every single game I'm thinking about limiting gold mines, especially in Retold. Now this is something that's even more important in Retold than it was in Legacy, only because there's more population now, and there's more citizens, so there's more villages, there's more villager count. Trade is worse as well. So even if I somehow limit like my opponent to one large gold mine, they're only really able to get maybe 20, 25 villages onto that gold mine, where in reality they might actually be needing 35, 40 villages on gold. So if I can limit them to just the one, it's all good. All right, so now here's a big lesson about Age of Mythology in general. If your opponent uses a god power, I don't care how far ahead you think you are, just run away. Literally, just run away. Lightning Storm, no problem. Implode, no problem. Just run away. This is my guide to beating god powers and not crying about overpowered things in Age of Mythology. It's god powers are more area controlling things. There are some god powers that do other stuff, but all the destructive god powers, all of the army boosting god powers, they're really, really good. Just run away. If you can, just run away. Which equally says, if you can't run away, then or if your opponent can't run away, that's going to be a really, really good usage of the god powers. So keep that in the back of your mind, and good luck with it. So we're going to come in here. We're going to get the rest of this gold staff going. He uses Ghoul and Bursty to come and try and defend himself. I probably would have run a little bit here away from this Ghoul and Bursty. It's really, really strong. But yeah, that's the game. If you guys enjoyed this kind of analytical 1v1 sort of thing where I do a post commentary, please let me know in the comment section below. My name's Boit, and I will see you guys in the next game.